Welcome to this week's episode of Undercover Boss. This week we will be in the Ford Motor Company factory focusing on Alan Mullaly, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Ford. The Ford Motor Company is an American multinational automaker. Ford runs their company based off of their vision, people working together as a lean, global enterprise to make people's lives better through automotive and mobility leadership. Over the years, Mullaly has shown superior leadership abilities, the utilization of time management and attention to detail, and amazing motivation strategies that benefit his employees, all of which can be found on our wiki page online. To learn more about Mullaly and how his employees value him, today we will be going around the factory disguised as Kevin, seeing his employees' opinions on his leadership, decisions, power and strategies, and the organizational culture of the company.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in on today's episode of Undercover Boss. I am Alan Mullaly, and today I will be going undercover to really get inside the heads of my employees and see how this company works from the inside out. Hopefully I find some good things, but stay tuned and we'll find out.
Hi, Kevin. Come on in. Take a
Hi,
seat.
thank you very much.
I'm happy to sit down and talk with you about our wonderful management at Ford. I really love the company, and the people at Ford play a huge role in that. A job at Ford means a job where you can grow and succeed thanks to our executives' leadership styles.
Do you mind if I take notes today?
Oh, no, of course. That's fine.
So Jen, first of all, thank you for having me, and I really do appreciate this opportunity to better get to know the firm and management. Leadership, I think, whether it's formal or informal, really affects the day-to-day business of an associate such as yourself. And you mentioned the leadership styles here at Ford. Can you give me some more color to that? What behavioral theories does Mullaly issue in his day-to-day work?
Yeah, I can definitely speak to Mullaly's leadership approach. I would describe him as a democratic style leader. Collaboration and human interaction really make up Mullaly's day-to-day life. He's constantly meeting with employees of all levels, whether it be, a higher up executive or someone working, at one of the plants or just, a salesperson. Undoubtedly, he maintains his overall power, but like any good democracy, he values follower and leader interaction.
I really like to hear that, and I do want to work in a place where my voice is heard. So how does he make this democracy clear, though?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Mullaly has been able to make his approach to leadership very clear by initiating a structure. He establishes his approach by outlining his openness to communication. He also lets every employee know that each work relationship, regardless of context, really is valued, just as any other relationship. So there's really no ambiguity as to Mullaly's view on leadership.
So would you describe him as employee-oriented? How much interaction do you have with him, and do you feel that he really cares about the employees?
Yeah, so are you referring to the University of Michigan study? Because I think I've read a little bit about that. And I feel like classifying Mullaly as either employee-oriented or production-oriented is kind of tough. Like, for example, during the financial crisis in 2008, you really could see him as both. Survival was high on the priority list. He wanted to make sure Ford was going to make it out alive. So definitely production was high on his importance level. He really wanted to make sure we were making good products and our finances were okay. So he really kind of wanted to get things done in a sense, making him production-oriented. But at the same time, he would meet with his employees to really make sure that their lives were okay. So maybe you were struggling to make ends meet, or kind of just a higher-up manager wondering if your salary was going to stay the same. So he wanted to, meet with all of them and kind of keep it employee-oriented. So I think a better way to describe Mullaly would be using the leadership management grid, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of that, but everything you said just sounds super great. I had family at GM during that time, and the story was not the same there. So having the story be different at Ford is very encouraging. But kind of going off that, what would you describe him as on the leadership grid?
Yeah, so I would describe him as a team manager. I mean, he really puts people and production first. So as I was saying before, where you can't really pick one of either for him, I think this is why I would call him a team manager. I mean, he wants to make sure the relationships are there. So he's able to react to different employee emotions, but he's also able to react to economic changes. So his dedication to his employees really leads to employees' dedication to the company. And I think that any good team manager is able to do that.
And so what about these contingency theories? How would you describe the situation in which he works, and how would you describe his leadership style going off that?
Yeah, so I think just as an employee underneath Mullaly, I feel like a strong point for him is his ability to help us define and reach our goals. He's kind of achievement-oriented in that way. So when he tried to run forward and kind of revamp the company when he first came here in 2006, he placed a lot of confidence in his employees. He understood that, the goals may have been challenging to really transform forward and, heighten the company's success. But because he put confidence in his employees, he was really able to reach a lot of achievement. Overall, I feel like he's a very charismatic leader. In different business endeavors, he's constantly gained support from his followers. His relationships and passion for success have really made him an outstanding leader.
That sounds incredible. I'm very, very thankful that I get to have this opportunity in this position, and I definitely understand. I definitely understand. I know the company more, and I'm very thankful to have this position. So thank you very much. I do think that Mullaly is a great leader at this point now.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Welcome to the company.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for coming in. Nice to meet you. I'm Greg.
Greg, thanks for having me. I'm Kevin.
All right, thanks for stopping in. There was a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about before you started here at the Creative Design Studio.
Very excited.
Glad to have you on board, like I said. First thing I wanted to say was, now that you're a newcomer here, I want to make sure that you encounter everything that you need to become an effective member. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask at this time. We're a pretty tight-knit team here. I just want to make sure you're comfortable and get off to the right start.
Yeah, and thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it. I'm very excited for this opportunity. But just to kind of get off on the right foot, can you give some color? I have some notes written down that I want to ask you before we get started. Can you give some color just to what the environment is around here and just kind of a general overview of how things work like that?
Sure, no problem. I would say that we are a very adaptive culture here, yet we still have to fit our industry. So with that being said, we are always listening to our employees, and also we are listening to our customers. Whether we encourage people to take risks around here to invent more innovative cars, whether it's smaller, more efficient, or heavy-duty workhorses, we want to improve it all. With that being said, I'm not here to hound over my workers or anything like that. I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. So if you ever feel like you need anything, just come to me and we'll take it from there.
Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. In my last position, my boss kind of was a helicopter boss, so it is nice to know that things work a little differently here. But specifically to you, what do you like most about working here at Ford?
Okay. Personally, I feel like I really like the idea of imagining the future of the automobile industry. I'm able to take risks here, and I encourage my team to do so as well. I really like having all the openness and honesty within the company, as upper management encourages us to do as well. I feel like almost everyone here has a very unique open door policy, which helps to create the culture that we want around here. Once you actually do hold your first design that goes into production, we also hold a rite of passage for you. This shows that we're going to take you out to dinner. We're going to give you a trophy or a plaque, and that will show that you're now a true member of the design team.
Wow, that's really impressive. So it sounds like it's a great atmosphere here. Everyone likes it, including yourself.
Yes, of course. Our management is very open and friendly, as I said. The open door policy runs throughout the entire industry. They understand that family comes first, and with that being said, it helps to allow our employees to focus on work more. And I'm very happy to work here, as even people that don't work here, my friends, my family, see that how unique and fortunate I am to be working here.
And now I can count myself among the group, and I'm also very, very happy to be working here. And I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to be working here.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, and of course, stay sharp, and my door is always open.
Thank you. Will do. Well, I'm really glad to see a guy like Greg working here. He perfectly embodies our commitment to the customers and our values. He's facilitating the type of culture that enables his team to take risks and come to him when needed. He's taking the values and going to the next level. He's deeply held belief in Ford being a company of innovation is awesome to see. The culture around here really aligns with my values of attention to detail, honesty, prosperity, and happiness. How you doing?
Nice to meet you. Name's Travis.
I'm Kevin.
Kevin. So, as a newly hired strategic analyst here, you're going to have to get to know how Ford makes our decisions here. And it's a little different from a lot of other companies. I thought I'd just catch you up on how the process works around here.
All right, I'm very excited. Can't wait to start out.
All right. Well, the first thing to mention is that we work closely with different high-level, C-level executives in this department, making our decisions, some of them stemming up from even the very top.
So would you mind sharing some of these experiences on me and kind of capitalizing on ideas generated from the highest executive?
Of course not. In the past 10 to 12 years, there have been many key decisions made by our current CEO that really stood out, and I'd be glad to share them with you. Well, one of the key decisions that he made in these years was deciding to unify Ford. You see, Ford in the past had a bunch of different regional smaller branches like Ford Asia or Ford Europe, and these brands lacked unity and ran into a bunch of different logistical and communications problems.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was a mess. So the CEO came in and used sort of a rational method to analyzing the decisions he wanted to make.
And who is the CEO now?
His name's Mullaly.
Okay.
Great guy. He decided to go in and try to unify these brands together into one big international multinational brand. And he figured he could rationalize the outcomes of doing this by having more company unity and fixing all these issues that they were previously having. And he sort of stemmed this from experiences he had at other jobs where he heavily valued teamwork and unity and figured that the alternative to not doing so would not work for Ford for their future.
Wow, so this CEO definitely sounds like he has it all together with the One Ford plan and really unifying it all. It really sounds like it's a great place to be. And I'd love to meet him someday, but are there any other interesting stories kind of about his decisions that you can tell me?
Whoa. The CEO's a real busy guy. I don't get to talk to him that much. But definitely I have a few other stories I'd like to share. One of them that comes to mind would be when he decided to completely reboot Ford's product line from top to bottom.
That sounds like a really tough project to overall tackle. Lots of moving parts, logistical issues. And so did he have any specific rules of thumb that he kind of used to help in this overall process?
There were definitely a few. When Mullaly came into his position, there are many monetary issues that the company was facing between union contracts and other what have yous, and those prevented plants from getting shut down and other things like that. So he noticed that these plants that had to stay open were building sort of useless, cheaper products that people weren't really buying, and he realized that this way of working isn't going to pan out well for Ford whatsoever. He decided, with his meticulous attention to detail, that it would be a rule of thumb not to be running the companies, not to be running these factories this way. He went in there and had an idea, also maybe another rule of thumb you could say, is he wanted to develop products that people actually wanted as opposed to just what would financially be appeasing these contracts. And he put the people to work on things that actually put good cars out for the right people, and I think he really stands by that in the way he makes his decisions. And it was just overall, it was a good experience for Ford. It really helped us fight through this the Great Recession.
Yeah, that sounds extremely impressive. I know that Ford was the only of the big three that didn't have to use a bailout from the government. So very impressive. I remember following this during this time, and it sounds like all of these decisions went really well for Mullaly and the rest of the firm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really kept us on our feet compared to the other brands. We sort of stood out as a company with our culture, and the decisions we made sort of helped provoke us being able to do this with our new CEO. It really helped us just in general stay above the competition and excel in what we do.
Well, Travis, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I'm really looking forward to getting started here at Ford, and I definitely feel like I understand the overall decision-making process here at Ford a lot better.
You as well. It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Rhonda.
I'm Kevin. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we could come out here. We could show you our new model of our Ford Fiesta, which just came out on the market a week ago.
It's a beautiful car, nice color.
Yeah.
Got good gas mileage. Very
Absolutely.
excited to drive one of these if I get the chance.
Yes. So, let's get you started here. Welcome to Ford. Like I
Thank you.
said earlier, I run this plant, as you can see, put a lot of work
It's
into
a
it.
very nice plan.
Yeah, and over many years of experience, and especially for much smarter people than I, as in this case for our management, that the right way to wield responsibility in a position like mine is to always be mindful of my employees and feelings and well-being. So it's very important that
That's encouraging.
we work together as a team and we care about one another, and just to do the best work possible that we can and support each other.
Okay.
And Alan Mullally taught me that first day on the job, and it's something that I will never forget and I'll carry with me no matter where I go, no matter what job I'm at. So
Wow. Okay.
I hope that gets carried over to you as we continue.
I hope so too. So do you think, you said Alan Mullally taught you this on your first day, do you think that he is a good example of kind of what you just talked about?
Oh, absolutely. He is the most clear, concise example for empowered if I've ever met anyone or heard of anything
Okay,
like that.
wow. And that's really great to hear that you have such a great CEO and you really have an understanding of the CEO. So what was the lesson like he taught you? Kind of, how did he do it? What did he say? What was the example?
Sure. Well, Mullally is a very smart man, as we all know here, and he knows how to use his influence.
Okay.
So he was giving a talk to all us new recruits at a time and made an appeal to our group. Now, I can't remember exactly word for word what he was saying, but the gist of it was that we need to be the type of company that encourages collaboration, like I said earlier.
Okay.
Everyone working together and supporting each other, and that we take care of our own. So it was very inspirational of him to say that, and it guided me into my management position that I'm in today.
So that sounds like a great story, and I'm very thankful to be part of something that's bigger than just myself, and that kind of mentality really stems from the top. So I am very thankful to be here. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm getting excited about driving this Fiesta around.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get you all set up.
All right, thanks.
I sat down with Alan Mullally after his first day at Ford Company, and he was very overwhelmed with all the great things his employees had to say about him. He had a very enriching day and loved getting to know some of his employees. Jen led him through the finance department and talked about Mullally's democratic leadership style. She mentioned how Mullally is concerned about his people and is very employee-oriented. Greg walked through the creative design department and mentioned the organizational culture of Ford and how it is an adaptive culture. He expresses his excitement about being able to take risks and how the company focuses on the changing needs of their customers. Travis, from the Strategic Decisions Department, talked about his opinion on the decisions Mullally has made over the years. He praised Mullally's decision on unifying Ford into one single multinational brand. He mentions how Mullally pays a lot of attention to detail and that decisions to take their smaller regional brands and unify them resolved a lot of communication complications and logistical problems. To end Mullally's tour, he met with factory worker Rhonda, who talked about Mullally's source of power. She mentions how she sees referent power in her CEO and how he has taught her to value every employee and be mindful of their feelings and well-being. Also, how he encourages collaboration and taking care of his own. I would say that this has been one of our most enlightening and encouraging episodes of Undercover Boss. It is great to see leaders being valued and appreciated by their employees, but it is also great seeing employees getting the respect and care that they deserve from their company. As always, I'm Stephanie Hornick, and we will see you next week on our episode of Undercover Boss.